our Empowerment Night Series, episode 2 with Pastor Eric. And I guess you're all seated in your home, seated in your couch, probably driving home or something. But when you're driving home, be careful that your eyes is not on the road, not on your phone screen or something. But I want to welcome all of you wherever you are watching us from. And tonight is going to be very awesome and very, very inciting and also very engaging. And the Bibles have said that Isaiah 33 verse 6, that wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of our times. So I believe that we are in seasons and time that we need knowledge and wisdom to have stability in our lives. In 1 Chronicles chapter 12 verse 32 says that the sons of Issachar had understanding to the times and seasons and to know what Israel ought to do. Sometimes we know the season we are in, but we don't know what to do. And I believe that this series have been crafted together to let you know what to do in the seasons we are in. In the last couple of months, our world has been attacked by this spread of the novel coronavirus. The systems of the world have been tested. A lot of things that people believe in have been tested. And I believe that in the light of this, as Christians, we need to understand the season we are in and therefore position ourselves so that we can make good use of the season and make best of the situation. Today, we are very blessed to have a brand challenger, and he'll be sharing on personal branding and career planning. And his name is Mr. Bright Gadzekpo. Now, let me just give a profile of the person who is going to be dealing with us tonight. Mr. Bright Gadzekpo is the CEO of PhD Media Ghana founder, the Masterclass of Ghana, the founder of Masterclass Accra. Bright is an experienced homegrown marketing communication practitioner with over 22 years of local and global experience in leading significant marketing, media, technology, and people projects for small, medium, and large corporate organizations. Bright is a thought leader who is passionate about trend spotting, pathfinding, and innovating with media for effective brand building. He trained as a biochemist, but followed his natural talent into advertising fraternity to pursue a professional career in his life and work in marketing communication industry. He's currently a member of the Executive Council of the Advertising Association of Ghana and an executive director of the board of directors of Omnicom Media Group and affiliate media agency of PhD Ghana. Tonight, wherever you are watching us from, I welcome you to the conversation. Mr. Bright, welcome. It's good to see you.
Thank you, my brother, and thank you for having me. And good evening to all our viewers, wherever they may be.
So, like we have already planned and advertised, today we'll be dealing with challenger thinking, personal branding, and career planning for the new normal. So, let's begin by I want to ask a question. What is brand? What is brand?
Yeah, so before I answer that question, it's important to even contextualize the topic within what you just said, the new normal. Why are we talking about the new normal? Because our whole world has been challenged over the last quarter or so, from China all the way to the Americas, from the Nordic countries to the southernmost part of the world. Everywhere human beings are living, our mindset has been challenged. And so within that context, we want to look at personal branding. Then we dovetail that into career planning. Now, you can have the textbook definition of brand, and for that matter, branding. But anybody who knows anything about brands and how they are built and how they live and work knows that brands are not made in a factory. They are not born on a factory floor. Brands are not delivered like we deliver babies on a factory floor, even though products are made in the factory or a service may be delivered at a service point. So the brand is actually more than just a product or a service. They are actually formed in our minds. So your personal brand must be what the person sees about you when they hear your name or when they see your picture When they even close their eyes, what do they see? What do they perceive? That is your brand. What is formed in the minds of the consumer, not what you actually give out as a product or even a service. So that's just my own way of letting us challenge our thinking on what we think a brand is for starters.
Okay, I think that there have been a very wrong impression about brand in the last few years. People think that the particular clothes you wear, the particular design you have on your shirt, the shoe you wear makes you a brand. It's what they call branding. But like you have said, brand is not what will be noted for when people see you at the first glance. So what are the fundamentals and pillars of a brand?
Great. So if a brand is actually supposed to be formed in the minds and hearts of people beyond what they see, what they touch and feel, that brand must have something far deeper than just what they see. And for that matter, the brand must have purpose. Every brand that has purpose is more meaningful than brands that just exist without any essence. There must be the raison d'etre of the brand. There must be the reason why the brand exists. And that is what is called purpose. So every brand must have a purpose. So you ask yourself, as a person, have you discovered your purpose? What is your purpose as a brand? So that's the first fundamental pillar. The second fundamental pillar is the positioning of that brand. So brand thinkers from the last century to current believe that positioning is the first thing a brand must have. But I believe that it's a second pillar apart from purpose, which is the foundation,
okay,
the why of a brand. The second thing is the positioning, the what of that brand. What is that brand supposed to be doing? Why are you here? Purpose. What are you supposed to be doing? Positioning. The third pillar is the promise. Where are you taking us? Your personal brand must have a purpose and a destination also. It must take somebody somewhere. You must be able to say, I will take you here or there and actually deliver it. Then you can say that you are actually a brand that has been built to deliver its promise. So a brand must have purpose, it must have positioning, it must also have a third one, the promise. So these are the three fundamental pillars in my perspective that a brand must have, whether they are a product brand, a service brand, or a personal brand.
I think what has really interested me is the first one, which is purpose. Very key, because in life you have to know where you are, who you are, and where you are going, so you can take people. So
Absolutely.
How does an individual discover his brand through purpose? Through purpose. How does an individual discover true brand? I know that the Bible is very clear on that where there's no vision, the people cast off restraint. But where does an individual do by understanding purpose in branding?
Yeah, so you mentioned it, discover. The first thing is you must discover that brand purpose. You must have it clear that this is the reason why the brand is there in the first place. It's tough, but there can be a process you go through in discovering yourself. And that purpose is pretty deep but simple. Everyone that has discovered their purpose would have discovered it first and foremost by the gifts that they have, and they have found out, or others have found out by interacting with them. So, like you rightly said, God positions us based on our purpose, the reason why He brought us.
Yeah.
So every brand, personal brand or product or service brands, whatever brand that you are, you must have your purpose. And because your purpose is directly linked to the way you are wired or your natural giftings as a person, it's important that you tap into that to play to your strength. So anybody who has discovered their fundamental, which is the purpose, usually would play to their strength.
Okay.
And they usually would do it so easily in terms of delivery. They do the work so easily, you wonder how and why. But it's because they have been wired naturally and they are playing in their natural territory. So in that process of discovery, you must look for what you naturally do well. What do you not struggle with? What is it that you are passionate about naturally? What is it that you cannot tolerate? What is it that when people run away from you, run to in terms of solving a problem? That is your purpose. That is your raison d'etre. So the whole journey begins with discovery.
Yeah. That's very true. I think one of the interesting things you say is that what makes you uncomfortable, because our purpose is always linked to what makes us very uncomfortable. When you see something that is not right, the Bible says when Jesus saw that the people had no shepherd, he had compassion on them, then he was pushed to heal them. So we are talking about, you just spoke about why. So what do we do if we want to position ourselves? Now we are in a very competitive world, and how do we position ourselves to be able to be effective with our brand if we have discovered it? How do you position yourself? Because even the football team, you must be positioned to be able to be effective.
Absolutely. So I said what? Positioning is about what? You know, it's about a place. A position is a place. It's not about post. Okay? It's positioning. It's not about post. It's about your what? What are you here to do? What's your job? What's your function? Rather than your position. Right. So in that purpose discovery, we said, okay, why are you here? You found out why you are here. But what are you supposed to be doing? That's positioning. That's the fundamental for positioning. And that will lead you, once you've identified what you should be doing, that will lead you to develop your gift, which you found out under why. It's important that you take time to develop the brand. It's important that you take time to build the brand. The brand would be natural, or your gift is natural, but you must polish it, you must develop it before you can serve it.
Wow.
It's important that you learn by doing. When you practice your gift, natural gift, you will learn. You will learn from your mistakes, you will learn from others who have similar gifts. You would learn from school, you will learn from your own mistakes, and you learn from your mentors. You must also learn by solving. You must solve problems. If you don't know why you are here and you know what you are supposed to be doing, you must do it. And the best way to do it and be relevant at that is to solve problems. Any problem, any product that does not solve a problem is not a product worth its positioning. There are products that position themselves in triple dimensions. They solve 1, 2, 3 problems. There are products that also position themselves to solve just one problem.
Okay.
They will live or die by solving that problem. So you must know where you want to die in terms of the marketplace. Where do you want to give your last? And once you discover that, you can take a risk and lead in that space. That's why I talked about positioning, being that you can actually decide that this is what I am here to do. Is either I'm growing by doing that or I'm dying by doing that. But because I've become very clear about what I am supposed to be doing. So it's about what. You must solve that issue of what. Once you solve that issue, you would have developed your gift and polished it to be able to serve it out.
All right. No wonder you train as a biochemist, but now you are into media consultancy and all that. So it's very important. One of the amazing things you said was that we should live by solving problems. We should live by solving problems. We should live by solving problems. So that means that if you are somewhere in your office, in your business, in your career life, and you are not solving problems, you might be the first to be retrenched. I remember about 3 years ago, we had a seminar even with Reverend Albert Okran, and we're saying that what you have to do to maintain your job in 2020. And now it's very obvious that we are in 2020, and it's very obvious that that thing that we did that training that we did, the information that we got from it is happening in people's lives. Because just because of the COVID-19, a lot of people have lost their jobs. But we pray that by this information that is coming, people have the opportunity to still stand in and not be taken out, and also do something for themselves. So, like you said, what it is where. So now I want to find out more of why is it important for your personal brand to have a promise?
Yeah, it's very important that before somebody follows you, they must know where you are going. So promise is about where. Nobody will follow anyone that is not going anywhere. People only follow when you are leading and going somewhere. So you must know where you are going. You cannot be a brand that has not promised anything and people would buy you. You must have a promise in your brand kit, the brand building kit. There must be a promise. So there's a positioning statement, but then there's a promise. So there's a brand experience. There's a product experience. So that experience by the customer is where you take them from where they are. It may be by solving a problem, but at the end of the day, where do you take them from? Are you effective at taking them from A to B? It may not be about your price. Your price may be about your bargain or your efficiency, but you have to first be effective in taking people from one place to another based on the promise you put out there. So it's about where you are going. You must have something that you promise to do. Where are you taking people? Your personal brand must exhume that promise. So that's what we are talking about.
Wow. So I noticed that you said something that it's not about money, because sometimes our world is centered around how much money people can make. But it's very critical that we are people who know what we are worth and where we can move people to. Then base of that will be rewarded based on, because some people give promises, but they are never able to deliver the promise. So in effect, their brand is weak. But I pray that we will become stronger people in that area. So now, I know that you are into challenger thinking. How does challenger thinking apply to personal brand?
So challenger thinking comes out of the coinage challenger branding or challenger brand. And challenger brand was a coinage that came 20 years ago by a gentleman called Adam Morgan. So Adam Morgan wrote a book called Eating the Big Fish. And when he wrote that book, he sought to talk about how there should be a mindset to challenge something that is bigger than you. Go up against something that is bigger than yourself. And that is challenger thinking. It may not be a person or a thing, but it may be a stance you take. It may be some change that you want to have happen. That is a challenger mindset. So challenger thinking says you see something that is wrong and you want that to change, either in your industry category or in your personal life or in your family tradition. You want that to change, or in your country's trajectory in terms of their development. You want that to change. And so you position yourself as a challenger to change that thinking, to change that way of behaving, to change that category behavior, or to change that societal behavior, or to change that lifestyle that you think that you're very passionate about changing. So that's a mindset. And once you do that, we have found out, we have analyzed brands across the globe as PhD in partnership with Adam Morgan's company called Eat Big Fish. 8 years ago, we did a book. We call it The Narratives of Challenger Brands, the 10 Commandments of Challenger Storytelling. We've written another version just last year, now talking about the strategies that challenger brands adopt. So individuals can also have challenger mindset and exhume the challenger thinking. Product or service brands can also have the same. So I'm going to take us through a simple process.
Okay.
We may not have all the time to do it, but I'm going to lead you to how we help our brands that we work for, and even personal brands at that, to discover what they may be doing already that they are not aware of. So you may be a certain type of challenger, but you may not even know. And so we can help you to determine what type of challenger you are. So when you hear the description of challenger thinking, you think about David and Goliath, right?
Wow.
So the David and Goliath story and approach is not the only frame for challenger thinking or challenger mindset and how it is put out. So there's an underdog in David, and there's a market leader or the big boy in Goliath. That is just one type of approach. There are some people who go to help people, to stand for the ordinary person. They may not be fighting a Goliath, but they say, I want everybody to have a democratized situation where they can also afford that product that is so expensive that they currently cannot afford. So I'm launching a product that everybody's pocket can afford. That is a challenger mindset.
Okay.
And there are products that take that stance in the marketplace and says, everybody must also have this kind of experience at a lower price. So a brand like Xiaomi, the phone brand Xiaomi out of China, is one such type that we have discovered. So the guy who founded the company that does the Mi series of phones in China and now is spreading out to the rest of the developing world especially, is one that worked at Silicon Valley, worked at Apple.
Okay.
And then came to China to set up this company and said, look, I want people to enjoy an Apple kind of experience with my phones, but I don't want them to pay the kind of pricing that Apple makes people pay. It doesn't make Apple a bad brand because Apple too is a challenger thinking brand. They also say that I don't want to appeal to just everybody. I want a particular type of person who is interested in a particular type of design and feel and experience to buy me. So Apple has also positioned itself like that. So it's not only a David and Goliath type of narrative or strategy that a brand can use to challenge something, but you can also use various types, varied approaches, and we've discovered about 10 of them. Time will not allow us to go into that, but I would direct you to go to overthrow2 as in the number 2.com.
So www.overthrow2.com. All right.
Overthrow2.com. That's a website for the book. When you go there, there's a simple quiz you can take. It's just 10 questions in about 10 minutes. When you answer those questions sincerely, as a person or as a brand manager, you are able to discover what type of challenger brand you are. And then we go on to advise what type of behavior in terms of your marketing communications, in terms of your public relations, what type of behavior should you be putting out there in the marketplace. So it applies to persons and it applies to products or services as well.
So can you just go?
So we challenge you to live more challenger.
Yeah. So I would like you to go through the challenger brand these things, because I want people to apply it personally to their lives. And when you mentioned that sometimes you challenge a brand like David and Goliath, or it could just be something that you want people to have. But I think that for personal people, the point is to start from your personal life, because until you are able to lead yourself, you can't lead other people. So I want you to maybe go a bit, explain that portion where people can challenge who they are today, because I think we are in a world where some people arrive too quickly, some people are not hungry for more, some people, they also see those who are very hungry as you stretching them too much, because you realize that when David got to the camp, his brothers were not happy with him because David had proven how inefficient they were. And sometimes in our life, we are surrounded by people like that who think that you are too much, you are pushing too much, you are too hungry. So maybe for our personal lives, maybe you can just go through that for us, because a lot of people are listening and they may want to, for now, get some information in that area. So
yes. So for your personal life, it's about wanting to make a change. Like I said earlier, what do you want to change about your life, about your story? What has been your story as a person? Do you like it? Are you uncomfortable with it? Do you want that narrative to change about yourself? That's the first thing. You must be ready to change something. It's about being angry with something, if you like, or uncomfortable with that thing.
Yeah.
About your life, about your situation currently. Do you like your life the way it is right now? The money you earn, the relevance you have to your society, your family. Are you content with it? When you look at your potential as a person, especially if you have discovered your gifts, you may be at just discovery level. You may not have developed, you haven't deployed it. So you are limiting yourself, you're limiting your own personal potential. So that is where the challenger mindset will help you to kick yourself out of that comfort zone of mediocrity to become somebody who will actually disrupt your family's history, your school's history, your country's narrative. You take something or yourself and you want to change that. That is a starting point.
Wow. 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 Thank you very much. Now, is there any connection between branding and career planning?
Absolutely. So we are at the crossroads in jobs, not only because of the technological disruptions the 21st century has brought, but also because of the disruption of a pandemic right now. A pandemic that has made it even impossible for us to go to our offices or our places where we transact business, maybe physically.
Because initially, let me just cut you in. Initially, you were supposed to be in our church tonight when we planned in January for you to come and speak. But here we are, we couldn't come into the church, so we are using other means to communicate to people. Or I can continue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So technology, for example, has taken some people out of jobs, but it has also brought other people into jobs. So whoever has engineered our being live on Facebook or wherever we are live in addition to Facebook, they are in business.
Yeah.
Their job is making them important and probably more important than they've ever been.
Yeah.
And that is the first level of shifting that the change that this pandemic is bringing has brought to us. The shift, it's brought us to a place of change. Whether you want to change yourself or not, the environment, the world itself, today as we have it, is going to force you to change, whether you like it or not. So that's the linkage between a challenger mindset and your career building. Some people will have to rethink their career trajectory because the jobs they do currently will not be able to sustain the lifestyle they want and desire to have. Wow. The change they seek in their lives cannot be supported by the career they are pursuing currently. Either because a robot is going to take their job or a virus is going to take their job. So there's a link between whether you are a challenger who wants to disrupt something or whether you are just okay with what you are doing and where you will go tomorrow or how relevant you will be to the world as a person. So you go back. Why am I here? Go back to your gifts. Go back to the things that you like doing. Go back to the things that you enjoy doing. Go back to the things that you wake up in the morning and you don't need anybody to teach you or train you, and you do it naturally. Do people want that thing right now in the COVID world that we are in, or in the 21st century that we are in? Do you have that skill set developed, or is it just a raw talent? Are you in a position to deploy it because it is needed right now? There are people who are doing things that are needed right now, but they haven't prepared to deploy it, so they can't earn money for that. Even though they have the gift, even though they've gone to school for it, they haven't planned how they are going to deploy and package and sell their gift. And so they now are scrambling to find how to package it in order to now sell, even though it is so relevant and hot. So there's a direct linkage between your challenger mindset or challenger thinking and career planning. And we'll get into that much deeper.
So I want you to just get into that because I want us to look at it based on where we are, and maybe I want you to be a tech prophet or or a corporate prophet to say that these are the skill sets you need in the next 5 years if you are going to survive. Since you are into branding, you have studied challenger branding across the world. What are the areas? So number one, if you're in finance, what you should do. If you're in marketing, what you should do. If you're an entrepreneur, what you should do. If you are just a businesswoman, what we call businesswoman in Ghana parlance, a businessman in Ghana parlance, what are the things you need to do so that you can be able to be very relevant in the next 5 years?
Absolutely. I like the fact that you use the word survive and the next 5 years.
Yes.
You know, career planning is done like that. You have to look at the next 5 years, the next 10 years, the next 15 years, the next 20 years. Where do you want to be? Then you start charting the path.
Yeah.
And in front of you today, as you chart your course to where you want to be, are two things: competition and potential collaborators who are your partners. Among that competition is not just human beings, but also machines, artificial intelligence. So I've been speaking about artificial intelligence for the last 5 years in Ghana as part of our thought leadership at PhD. And it's scary, but it's also a huge opportunity. If we are able to harness the things that stand you out as a human being. You talked about what skill sets should we develop in order to survive in the next 5 years. Those skill sets must be better or more relevant to the world than what a machine can do. If what you do can be done by a machine and done better, then you want to rethink. That you want to do something that a machine will not compete and outcompete you. And it's tough. It's not easy. I'm not saying it because it's easy. It's tough. You want to move yourself into a space where it's tougher for robots to be like you. So begin to think now, right now. Whether you're an accountant, whether you're a marketer, whether you're a pastor, what is it that you do that a machine can replace? Because it's so mundane, it's so repetitive, it's so technical that if I create an app today, you'll be out of business. Think about that competition. In addition to the human beings competing with you. Then think about how you can collaborate with other people and other technical devices or machines or even the robots in framing your career path over the next 5 years. How can you use technology to your advantage, for example? How can you use knowledge in programming, for example? How can you use understanding of the amount of data that we have right now, because we are all using devices that collect that data. Anytime you use your phone, you are producing data, whether the phone is on or not. You are producing data because it's a device that is wired. Are you positioning yourself that you can analyze data and generate human-led insights or human-driven insights or human-connected insights beyond what a robot can do? Because the robot will calculate and analyze and plot graphs faster than a human being. So we're in a world where you are not only competing with human beings and you are not only collaborating with human beings, we are also doing the same with machines. And you need to take advantage of what machines does, which you cannot do, to be able to compete or collaborate with them. So I'll go into more specifics.
Maybe you can just go into that. You can go into that. You have the floor.
Yes, more specific. So when you look at what machines have done over the last 50 years or so, when computer science started being created, when artificial intelligence started, when we started programming software and so on, is to do things that we do every day the same way. So if you go to an office every day and your job is a certain stable, nice, mundane, repetitive job, somebody who is a computer scientist or computer programmer is programming to automate that job. We call it automation. So look out for what you do today. There are things that machines are not yet there to do, like relating to human beings. The social sciences may not have looked like jobs that make people a lot of money. But in the future, in the world that we are headed into, because of automation and the prevalence of machines, human beings will have to come back to the things that only humans can do best, like empathy.
Empathy, yeah.
Like interpersonal skills building. Soft skills, not the hard skills alone.
Soft skills.
Are you able to relate to people well? Are you able to connect to people well? Are you able to gain insight for human behavior? Are you able to counsel people? Would people miss you if you are not around them? Those are soft skills that robots are even trying to do right now. So there are AIs that Facebook has built that can read a Facebook page to a blind person who cannot see the Facebook page. Describe the pictures and all the things on Facebook to the blind person. Well, there are robots that are bionic robots that accompany or give company to old people who are in old people's homes who have no human being around them.
Okay.
What extra element in terms of human element can you add that will make you be added to that robot or make you block that robot from taking your job? So we need to move a step higher in our skills set, in our mindset. So when I teach challenger thinking, I teach it and tell people, I'm not teaching you only a skill set, I'm teaching you a mindset. You have to change your mindset in order to survive in the next 5 years.
Yes.
You have to change your mindset in order to acquire the kind of skills that will make you thrive, not just survive in the next 5 years. It's scary, it's a lot of challenge, but God has given us and built it in us as human beings to be able to do things that machines just support us to do. So the future world of work, it's play, not just hard work, it's smart work. So human beings will have more time on their hands to have leisure, because automation will take over so many things. Shopping, buying, booking your flights, delivering of products will all be automated, and it's happening right now. Robots, drones are delivering products. So if your job is just to carry go, kofabra, if that's all you do, you aren't going to survive and thrive in the next 5 years. I'm sorry, but you have to challenge yourself to get out of that space. And I believe that God is a just God. He has given each one of us what we need to survive and thrive. Our job is to discover, develop, and deploy it.
This is very interesting because when you were speaking about the soft skill, I was putting myself in as a pastor. So you must have empathy, you must love people, you must be there to counsel people, you must be able to manage people. It's no more going to be like you are in the market square, somebody comes to say, buy, he said, if you can't buy, go away. Because the person, you are angry or something, but in very soon, all those things are going to affect our lifestyles. So what are the steps to a successful career in the new normal, in the 21st century, amid COVID realities? What are the steps that we should take now? Because, like you said, we need new skills, new mindsets, a challenger mind, new mindset, soft skills, empathy, counsel, and all those things that machines cannot do. That means that we must develop those parts of our life. But what are the steps that one should take if they are going to be relevant in the 21st century?
Great. So the question is, what do you want to become? You must have a desire. What do you want to be in the next 5 years? Where do you want to take people in the next 5 years? Or where do you want to take yourself in the next 5 years? You must have a desire. What do you want to become? That's the first step. That's the first step. That is what will make you begin to sit down and rediscover yourself. If you have discovered yourself in one path or one way, you can actually have multiple pathways to that plan for your life for the next 5 years. So I want to become this, I want to become that. You must come to that point where you want to become something in the next 5 years. Then the next step is you have to determine how you get there. What will success look like for you? How will success look like? Frame that. You need to decide how success will look like. Then you go. How do you devise a means to get to where you want to get to? In determining that, you have to set your goals. You have to establish timelines. You have to plan with a roadmap. A career is a roadmap. A job is just a place you are in right now. It may be a place of comfort or discomfort, but it's a place you are in. But you must have a roadmap. You must engage people that will help you on that journey. They may be your superiors, they may be your colleagues, they may be people you look up to, they may be people who would mentor you, people who will help you measure your progress. You must have a measuring mark. They must have a metric by which you measure success. So you determine what success will look like. What would you say is cool? What would you say you'll be happy with? If you don't have anything you are chasing, everywhere is okay. Anything is fine. So your career journey must be because you have something you are chasing. You have determined a place you want to be, and you must get there. So in devising a strategy, you have to be innovative. So the innovative brands in this world are the ones that grow disproportionately. They don't grow single-digit growth. They don't grow regular type of growth. They are growing double digits, 10 years continuous. China is where it is today because over 20 years, they were growing at double digits. They were not growing small. They were growing by leaps and bounds. You must have innovation that disrupts your category, whether it's a service or a product or a person. You must be creative. It may not be in your genes, but it must be in your nature, your nurture. You must create a space in your device, your strategy, that has a space for innovation and creativity. Other than that, you will not be able to change anything. You will not be able to command that kind of revenue or income that you want.
Before you continue, that means that you may not have that skill set, but it is something you must develop in the now. Because there are people saying, right, I am not multitasking. I'm very linear. But in this world we are in now, you must be multitasking, you must be multidimensional, you must be innovative. Absolutely. And proactive.
Absolutely.
Very important. Okay.
It's multitasking. We are in a multiple world. We engage in multiple dimensions. You're on your phone, you're watching TV at the same time, people are talking to you at the same time. It's multitasking.
Yeah.
You must be non-linear, like you rightly said. You must be non-linear. You must have lateral thinking ability.
Yeah.
You must have design thinking. You must learn that. We may not be taught, all of us in school, but you must acquire that through mentorship. You must have a mentor. You must read books. You must invest in your brand. You must build that brand equity by learning every day, reading every day. It's not about reading books from cover to cover. It's about reading what is relevant to you, what will take you to the next place that you want.
Very, very important. Very, very important. One of my professors told me, Professor Asamoah said that you don't buy a book because you want to read everything, but you buy it because you have stuff in there, you put it in your library, and as when you need it, you pull it out, read that chapter, get the information, put it back there, and continue life. If you need another one, that's what you do. You can continue, sir.
There's must be commitment to continuous development, continuous learning, continuous professional development. There are professions that give points every year to their professional members for learning a course outside of their field. And they score points called CPD points, continuous professional development points. A seminar here, a workshop there, a webinar there. You must pick and add to yourself continuously. You must learn one PDF, one link on YouTube that you are watching. you must constantly and continuously be learning and sharing that learning.
Thank you very much.
The final thing.
You want to say something?
You finish, then I'll come.
No, because I was seeing the three things you mentioned: desire, determination, and device. That means the desire should be rooted in your purpose and what you feel God is calling you to become. Then determination is where you are going, the promise. Before you now need the device, these are the things you need to acquire to make you very relevant. Now, what do you think about the situation the world is in with the COVID challenge now? With the challenger brand thinking?
No, the fantastic time for challenger brands. Look, money will be looking for people with what solutions the world needs today. People look for money, but money also looks for people or solutions. You must be focused on providing solutions. So what COVID has done is throw a challenge at us. And we must challenge it back.
Amen.
Through challenger mindsets and thinking.
Wow.
So it's important that we look at it both as a challenge and also as an opportunity.
Yeah.
There are people who will no longer work from their office, they will work from home.
Obviously.
There are children who are no longer going to classes for the rest of the term or for the rest of the semester. They are online. Their parents are also working from home. And that's a whole new dynamic. That creates an opportunity for people who may be interior designers, architects, technology service providers, and a whole new lot of opportunity. Home remedies that parents must learn from a healthcare standpoint. Do it yourself DIYs that people must learn. There will be a whole new range of products that will be required that we currently have not taught and prepared to deliver. So it's both a challenge as well as an opportunity. That's what COVID is doing. The world has changed forever.
Yeah.
Every 100 years, every now and then, our world and our social systems shift. Major shifts happen. And this is one of them. The last time we had a huge pandemic of this proportion was 100 years ago. The Spanish flu.
Yeah.
High infection rate, low death rate. So there's a tomorrow. And I like to also say that above all that I've said is to build a reputation. Build a reputation. You must have integrity. You must have a good name. Because people will be looking for people they can trust their children with. People will be looking for people they can trust their money with. People will be looking for people they can trust their house with. Will you be the one that they will trust? Will you be that person that they will trust more than a robot? You must build your reputation right now. That is probably overall for me. That's the soft bit. You may have a hard skill, but that's the software that you must have. Your operating system must be one of integrity and building your reputation. A good name is better any day, any time.
Yeah, that's very
They once asked the owner of Quaker Oats if he lost all his factories, or if he lost all his brand, or if he lost his brand, his factory and the brand, which one would he take? He took the brand. Because with the brand, he can build another factory, and another factory, and another factory again. It is your brand and its sustainability that's the most important asset you have. Your brand must be sustainable. You must build the undergirdings and the foundations that will make that brand sustainable and reputable over hundreds of years. So it's important that we go back to the beginning and build the right foundations that would make us survive not just 5 years, for generations. That's my final point.
Thank you very much. I think for my takeaway, a brand is what, who, and how people see you. And we must have a challenger mind to challenge the things around us. And you made a profound statement that every 100 years, the world goes through a challenge. We are fortunate to be in the COVID season, and I believe that we have the opportunity to challenge the way of doing things in our own personal lives, in our corporate lives, in our career lives, in our entrepreneurial lives. And the clear things you said in finishing is that we must be people of integrity, good reputation, like the scripture said that a good name is better than riches. I want to thank you very much for this great exposition on this topic. We are going to look forward to seeing you and having you more often, maybe in this format or another format. But tonight, I want to really thank you for taking time. I know you are a very busy person, extremely busy. So whilst people are home and they are entrenched, you are doing something very, very seriously, and we appreciate you for that. And we thank God for your life. And everybody watching, we want to thank God and appreciate Mr. Bright Gadzekpo. And maybe you can also give us your details of your website and maybe your corporate number, so that if anybody wants to follow up with any other consultation or any consultancy with you, you can see. So maybe you can give us that before we go off.
Yeah, so I'd rather give our website address. Our global network is phdmedia.com. So you should just go online right now. phdmedia.com.
Media.com, yeah.
Media.com. It's a global network /Ghana. You get the details on the Ghana team on /Ghana. But when you go to phdmedia.com, you see the entire global network. We are marketing communications consultants. We serve most of the big brands in the world humbly. We work for many companies across all the continents of the world. And in Ghana, we work for some of the topmost brands in the country currently. We look forward to helping individuals and local businesses as well in shaping and building their future. And we're passionate as a business about growth. We're very obsessed about growth. We are a challenger brand, PhD. We believe that we are a challenger brand, and we want to go on a journey of disproportionate growth through innovation and the use of technology, marketing, data analytics, artificial intelligence, and all the tools available to us today to build brands that will grow disproportionately over the years ahead of us. So we welcome anyone, any business that wants to reach out. On a personal level, I support young people. I am passionate about talent. I'm passionate about discovering talent, and I am available to mentor and support persons on a personal level to build their personal brand. I'm passionate about brand building. I'm very passionate about taking something that today looks like nothing and making something big out of it that everybody will be talking about. So Facebook, PhD Media Ghana, you can check our Facebook page out. Definitely our paths will cross. So post your questions to Pastor and you forward the questions to me, or go to PhD Media, go to overthrow2.com and interact. There are case studies there, there are interviews there. There's a lot of opportunity to learn so much about challenger mindset and challenger thinking on that website.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bright Gadzekpo, for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a blessing to us. God bless you. God bless you. All right, before we go off, these are some reminders. Next week, Wednesday, we are setting up a sustainable business. Setting up a sustainable business, what you must know. And our resource person is an in-house, astute, very cutting-edge lawyer, Bobby Bunsen. And you don't need to miss that. There's time for you to do business, gentleman agreement, meeting on the street and say, let's do business, it's over. You must be able to put your business in proper perspective. So next week, Wednesday, get ready. And the other reminder is that we are fasting on Friday, like we told you. Friday, we're having our covenant day of fasting and prayer. In the evening, we are going to be praying on our prophetic power night. I believe that God has put a word in my heart for you. And also remember that on Sunday, we'll be listening to Dr. Mensa Otabel at 7:30, but I'll come on at 7:15 before 7. So I want to thank all of you for watching tonight, and I want to see you at the Prophetic Power Night. God bless you. I want to also thank all the media team that have taken their time to help. They've been working very hard to get this episode running and these meetings running, and we thank God for their lives and for what they do. God bless you all. See you on Friday.